in the vein of Deadpool, have a bit of a twist to the panel, mainly in the guise of the moderators. So it won't be the normal faces that you see moderating the panel. And I'm really delighted to introduce an incredible trio that you will recognize immediately as Salt-N-Pepa.
How you doing, baby? No, not you. You, the bow-legged one. Yeah.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Salt-N-Pepa's here.
And Spinderella.
Don't forget.
Don't forget.
Don't do that. We are so excited to be here today.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody. We're just excited to be a part of this amazing day to talk about this awesome film and the Blu-ray and the DVD that will be released on May 10th.
Don't forget.
Here in the U.S.
All right.
Right, that's right.
Exciting. It never ends. This thing, right?
And check this out. The Blu-ray will nearly have about 2 hours of added features from deleted scenes and a gag reel, which you know is going to be hilarious. I can't wait to see that. And the making of documentary, which we'll all see a few in the clips, right?
Yeah.
In a few minutes, we'll all see it.
All right, so you guys ready for our panelists? Yeah. Bring them out, give them a hand.
Yeah,
First
we got to give it up for the panelists.
the merch with the pal, Deadpool star Ryan Reynolds.
What's going on, girls?
Tim Miller.
Yeah.
Ed Skrein.
Age so well.
Come on out, babe.
Okay, perfect.
Ajax.
AKA.
What's his name?
Yeah, you're there, Tim.
Screenwriters and executive producers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick.
Yeah.
And producer Simon Kinberg.
Yes.
And these are our geniuses.
Yes.
And this film has been a huge hit with audiences worldwide, and everything in the film is bomb, y'all. I mean, it's a good sense of humor, of course, and the music was on point. Especially Shoot, thank you. The fans have been talking about this movie online for months, and we've got some questions for you all. Deadpool has, this is for everyone. Deadpool has many great qualities, but what is your favorite? Can you all just...
Is that him as a personality or the movie?
Let's just say the movie.
Quality. No, let's talk about all qualities.
We'll be here all day.
that was
Let's just say the movie itself.
His taste in masturbatory accoutrement.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Every day you
wonderful.
see a
Wonderful use of
unicorn
the
and
English
assless leather
language.
chaps. I relate and love his self-loathing. That's something we often talk about. He's just a guy who's in this sort of shame spiral, a highly militarized shame spiral, and it's fun to watch. And that's something I've always connected to with the character, and certainly the meta aspect. I mean, I feel like a kind of like a pop culture machine when I'm at home with my wife, just talking about anything. So I love pop culture, and Deadpool loves pop culture, and that's why it felt a little bit like, for me, like a match made in heaven. So.
That's great. This next question is for Ryan and Tim. What was your favorite scene to shoot and why?
Sex montage.
Sex montage was the worst scene to shoot.
It was, yeah.
It was literally, I feared that day like no other because, you know, I'm not very good at sex in my personal life, and I felt as if I couldn't relate to the scene, except the pegging part.
The what part?
Pegging, Paul, it's a thing. You should
Moving on, Tim.
check the internet.
I'm going to.
You'll get some imagery on that one. I think my favorite scene had to be the final moment between Deadpool and Vanessa when he takes off the mask. It was just such a powerful moment.
It was like full circle.
Yeah, and Ryan and Morena crushed it. It was just such a powerful, and you know, I think people have said that it's the first time for me, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but people say usually the ending of the movie is the hardest thing to get right, but I felt like we had that right
Right.
immediately, and it made everything else sort of fall into place.
And you cried that day on set.
I did. I cry. Well, I cry easily.
They were so.
Did you really
I
cry?
do. I do.
A lot,
I love you. I'm a crier.
Me
You know
too.
what?
I'm a cry.
And
Yeah.
he weeps when he witnesses like pure rage too, like weird things. Like you're like, I had a scene in the movie where I just completely lose my mind and I'm punching everything in sight and every second word is motherfucker. And Tim calls cut and he's just like this weeping Kleenex commercial in the back, and I'm like, Tim, that was just rage. Why was that remotely tear-jerking?
It must feel like you got the shot, right?
I guess,
It's a
I don't know.
beautiful
No, you
Yeah.
just
They
it
were
was
so
so
freaky together that I knew they were gonna end it.
Yeah, I know.
it was so well done. That's why it was
Yeah,
like
it
he was
really
so
was.
good. And you just sit there and you go, as a director, you go, holy fucking shit, it's awesome. It's so good, and I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
But just bear witness to the greatness.
Great team.
Well, this question again is for Ryan, Tim, and Simon. I mean, Salt-N-Pepa music was in the movie.
Yeah.
True. And yes, and we also got to perform at the MTV Movies Awards. What made you choose that song to be a part of Deadpool?
Good question.
That is a great question. No, I mean that's a great question.
I remember.
It was Aditya's idea.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Aditya's
It was
idea.
someone that was another producer on the movie who works with me, Aditya Sood. It was his idea, actually. We were looking for, like Brian said, a big part of the comic and the movie is pop culture references. And some of them are obscure, some of them are things that we grew up loving, some of them are, stuff that's out there right now. And we were looking for a song that all of us loved and grew up loving. And Aditya had the idea of using Shoop, and it just kind of perfectly fit into the movie and became kind of like an anthem for the movie.
You can't get rid of us now, you see.
No, absolutely. And if we're lucky enough to have the opportunity for a sequel, Deadpool's going to fight Salt-N-Pepa in the sequel.
You heard it right here.
Huge battle. Spinderella's on my side though too.
I have to tell you, Peppa will lay you out.
Actually, it'll be the first time. I'm not above using a writer as a human shield.
Okay, let's watch a clip from the making of a documentary from Blu-ray. This first clip introduces the creative team behind Deadpool as they tell the story of getting Deadpool off the ground. Roll clip.
Can I also say that video was so sexy that you guys
Shoop
were so
video? Yeah.
fucking hot.
Thank
But he's
you.
bad at sex, so just ignore it.
And he's gonna weep.
But I masturbated to it frequently. But
Good God!
you started.
You know what? Don't feel bad. We've heard that a lot. We were a lot of guys first. Got one in there. Let's roll the clip.
It's still going. Okay. At what point, anyone can answer this, at what point during the process did you feel like you cracked Deadpool for the big screen?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think our first litmus test is just, does it make us laugh as we're writing it? Like, I think as you sit there and type, sometimes you get into the scene. It's almost as if the characters are acting already for you in a strange way. And if that's making you laugh from the inception, I think you're probably onto something. I mean, we've always, I think, felt like entertaining each other is what we really do. And then the hope is that then entertains the masses. But
I would say, I mean, this is taken for granted that I knew the script was great, so I felt like the film would be great. There were some big unknowns though, and seeing Ryan in the costume for the first time is when I felt like, holy shit, this is gonna work. Yeah, Ryan and I, I cried there when I saw when I saw Ryan in the
Ryan
costume.
said the costume had balls. Is that what did you say? Like this one?
Not balls built in. I brought those,
Oh, you brought those.
yeah. But the camera makes it look 10 pounds bigger. So, the suit was a kind of like making the suit was like a slow motion nervous breakdown the whole time, because you're just thinking, if we don't get this right, we are 100% fucked. And as it was being developed and designed, you know, we had all these notes and we had all these thoughts, but we had no time. I mean, the studio greenlit the movie, and basically 10 months from our first day of shooting, we were on the big screen, and that's no time for a film like this. So, so we had to get that suit right and fast. And when it was finally completed, we went into this little warehouse in Los Angeles, and Russ Schenkel, who owns this Film Illusions company that makes these suits, he had it there in like a perfect light, and like sitting on a mannequin, and we cried. I mean, we just wept because it was it was ripped right out of the pages. Not only that, we felt like we finally created a comic book character that was it was the most faithful adaptation from a comic to a film suit that I'd ever seen, and I thought that was pretty special.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Rhett and Paul, did any of your own roommate experiences influence the dynamic between Wade and Blind Al?
That's a funny question. Yeah, which one of you is Wade? Which one is Blind Al?
I used to live with Paul's brother, and Paul crashed on our couch for about 2 months one time without paying rent. So yeah, I think some of that angst might have bled over into the character. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I do build the IKEA, and Rhett does pay the rent. So.
Okay. But Blind Al's the consummate roommate. I mean, Deadpool's the hideous.
Yeah, I mean, some of that does come from personal stuff too. It's like I did have IKEA furniture. I always had to build it on my own. I'm the least handy person. I'm a writer. I think Simon can relate. As the least handy person in the world, and you would place a newspaper on my dining room table, and it would start doing this, like because of the shoddy construction that went into it.
Yeah, that Blind Al scene was funny. Okay. This next clip touches on Deadpool's iconic costume and the extensive work that went into making sure the suit looked right. Roll clip. Okay, so where's the weirdest place you've worn the Deadpool suit? I mean,
where's the weirdest? You know what? Like,
we should get Blake up here to answer.
Right.
Yes, I cannot maintain an erection unless I'm in the suit. No, you know, to be totally honest, the one thing I thought was really fantastic is a lot of kids have been reaching out, you know, because they look up to Deadpool. A lot of kids who are suffering from cancer and that sort of thing. And, you know, I've gotten to know a lot of these kids just based on Deadpool. They love this character, Wade Wilson, who basically is given this diagnosis and flips it the bird. And it's something that a lot of these guys and girls really relate to. And I got to spend a lot of time with these kids and do a lot of stuff with Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I always want to wear the suit when you go into the hospital. But the problem is the suit is mostly weapons. So it's like you can't, you know, like Captain America has a shiny shield, you know, Thor has like a semi-non-threatening hammer. I have katanas and like semi-automatic pistols, which is not something you go through a metal detector at a hospital in. So I've always wanted to wear it there because I think it would be really special.
And they will test. They'll be like, "Where's the whole suit?" They test everything.
I know. One day we got to figure that out. So, but other than that, I feel like I'm wearing it every other day. I mean, we're doing something. I feel like if I just let Fox run my calendar, I would be sleeping in the suit, making appearances at random Ohio State fairs, and no, but I do have a suit at home. I did leave with the suit. There was no way I was not going to leave with the suit. So.
Doing this today reminds me that promotions just doesn't end, right?
Yeah, it's sort of you just go it's a high class problem, but
when you have a successful movie, so that's great. Ed, is it better playing a hero or a villain?
It's good playing. It's wonderful playing a villain when you have a director like Tim Miller. When you're opposite someone like Ryan Reynolds. When you have words written by people like these two gentlemen next to me. You know, it's wonderful being in that position. But Ryan will say it's wonderful being a hero when you're surrounded by everything except me, probably. But no, I mean, it's when it's a well-written and a rounded character, then it's great. But I don't only want to play villains. My bone structure lends itself to the darker side of characters. And somehow I seem to be able to summon the darkness and find it.
Has a British person ever played a hero?
I want to be the first. I want to be the first.
And you played it so well.
He did. Thank you.
Way too
well. What I loved about him is that he didn't always play it like a villain. I mean, he had his own convictions and his, you know, whether they're opposing to the heroes or not, it sort of lends itself to making him the villain. But I love that you didn't, you know, you weren't twisting the mustache.
You know, when you were talking earlier, saying, you know, when did you know that Deadpool, that you got it right with the movie as a whole? It's like, you know, I'd say me and Tim well, I don't know, Tim might answer this differently, but I certainly never thought that we had it. I always felt like I was surfing a thin line and was, you know, I had these concerns the whole way that I didn't want it to be this moustache twirling, cat stroking villain.
Right.
So it only was when I watched the movie that I was like, okay, we did all right. You know, I survived. It wasn't cliched, but I never really felt like we'd got it.
Yeah, that creative process
What do you?
is scary.
We did. We totally got it. What are you talking
Yes.
about?
You are sitting next to the
Yeah. What the fuck?
No, we did get it. But when we were doing it, I was like, oh man, you know, I hope this isn't too, you know, too.
There's a camera right there. I can lay down and you can go to work if you want.
We should react the whole warehouse fire.
Yeah, right?
That scene, I
That
thought.
was great. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Ed did some great scenes, but that scene where he's talking to Ryan and explaining how this process is going to work, and it's so fucking good. It was Ryan's idea to, again, we're trying to take the edge off the whole mustache twirling. Ryan's like, what if he's just eating some broccoli? Do this all. So we're like, yeah, there's a great idea. But you notice when Ed eats broccoli, it's like his face. I don't know what it is about your facial structure. It's like everything's moving underneath, and the way the light.
Faces usually move when people talk, Tim. Most people, your face is moving now, Tim.
Not as much as yours. But it's just as beautiful. I think it's one of my favorite shots in the whole movie.
You're not going to cry again, are you, Tim?
It wasn't.
You're going to start weeping.
It was a. All right. But you can't, as a director, you sit back behind the monitors, and just when it works, it's just wonderful.
Yeah, that.
When it doesn't work, he doesn't call cut. He just goes, wrong!
Really? Oh, is that true?
And then everybody else cries.
Ed's big. I asked Ed for comments after, like, what could I do better as a director? And one of them was, don't yell across the set, you suck.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was one of Ed's.
That was in the comedy.
Do it again,
You
but
seem
try
to
not
shout
to
that
suck.
more to me than anyone else. Abuse across the set. So I don't know what I read into
A
that.
bunch of guys making a movie.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sensitive
so
men.
Ryan, who's the bigger villain, Ajax from Deadpool or Dusty Lee from Just Friends?
Simply Dusty. Is there any other kind? God, yeah, Dusty Lee. That's a pretty great villain, I gotta say. But you know, I am in the room right now with Ed, so.
Yes, Ryan.
Yes,
Who was it?
yes,
Sorry.
it was. Do you play the guitar like you have 16 fingers? I don't know. Dusty Lee did. Yeah, I gotta go with Ed because I don't know that Dusty Lee could fight as well in a burning building with a naked man.
This is where you start singing "I Swear," Ryan. They're gonna.
That's funny.
That's enough.
Okay, so next up, we'll see the complex process of applying skin prosthetics to Ryan Reynolds in order to transform him into this
Tongue twister.
Yeah, into this figured Deadpool.
Are we
All
really
right,
gonna see
yes.
this clip though?
Yeah. We made it already.
Yeah. Bill Corso, real on-camera face.
Yeah, he looks great, huh?
Very handsome.
He does his own makeup.
When they greenlit the movie, maybe the second thing that Ryan said was, Tim, you got to call Bill Corso.
Yeah.
You got to call Bill Corso. He's the best there is. Get
Who's he
him,
worked
lock him in.
Who's he worked with?
He did Lemony Snicket's, Foxcatcher. I mean, changing Steve Carell and Channing Tatum. Those guys, I mean, just like these great. He does
Star Wars.
One thing I'm talking about, you're not here. But one of the things he does that's so great is he can apply copious amounts of prosthetics and still maintain the person underneath, and that's the magic of that. It's easy to just slap a bunch of foam on somebody,
Right,
make them look
right.
like a different person, but really keeping the personality alive underneath is a feat, you know. And he would put that thing on my face every day, and it looks all lovely and fast speed, but he would get it on, and like the second he was done, after like 4 hours, I'd go, get it off! Because it's so itchy and sweaty,
I
and
was
like
gonna ask
underneath
you,
there's all
okay.
this, you know, but after a few hours it gets warmed up and it moves, and it's just a beautiful thing. And it just made my daughter cry every time she came to set, though. It was really
At the end of the day, Ryan would peel it off and roll it up in little balls and throw it at guys on
I would treat it
set.
like a raffle,
It
like
was
the grip. I'd be like, "You won!" like, horrible, really horrible.
They answered that one already.
Oh, you answered that one already? Okay. Okay, this next clip showcases one-of-a-kind motorcycle rig that was used to shoot some of the highway action throughout Deadpool. Roll clip.
A lot goes into making a movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was a real city street you guys shut down. Can you tell us a little about shooting in Vancouver?
Ooh, we like that.
Yeah, that's my hometown. So that was nice for me. Yeah. I became public enemy #1 because we shot on this viaduct that we shut down for 2 weeks. So at first it was like, movie shutting down the viaduct, so traffic's going to be a little gnarly for the next 2 weeks. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, they did some radio announcements. And then like immediately the following week on the front page was just Ryan Reynolds ruined city. So it was, yeah.
But they made me do the announcement. So,
totally, yeah.
for the radio. Sorry, Vancouver, but thanks.
Yeah, thanks for letting us use it. Yeah, it didn't really wreck traffic that badly, but it was nice. It was really nice shooting in my hometown and just being there, and these guys Tim is really good at making $1 look like $10, and Fox gave us, to shoot the entire movie, they gave us $47 and a bag of Skittles. So
That's what they gave us for our first album.
Yes, exactly. So yeah. But it was Vancouver really lends itself to a huge production value. I mean, they have great production services there, so it was really special for me. So.
Yeah, the local crew were amazing. It was a wonderful place to live and work for 4 months. Fantastic scene.
It's beautiful there. We've been there.
Lots of time.
Lots of
Would you
time.
guys mind taking questions from the audience? See if
Not at all. Love to.
If you guys have any questions, let us know. Okay. She's going to come with them.
I can't see anything beyond a blinding light.
Yeah, you said something about the possible sequel. Are you guys working to the sequel already? Are you pitching the sequel already? Or?
Well, there's pitches, that's for sure. I really do genuinely want to see a Deadpool Han Solo team up. I have a non-vocal, unwritten commitment by Harrison Ford. I didn't even actually meet him. I just read his astrological chart, and it looked good for us. I don't know. That's all in motion right now. We're trying to see what's going to come of it, but that's a tricky thing to kind of announce sort of right now.
It's all based on Adam Sandler's schedule, really.
Really? Yeah.
100%. Whether or not.
Yeah.
That was a bad joke, because that was...
No, it was a good one. Don't take it back. It was good. It was good. For you, Tim, it was good. It was like better than usual, man. Really. Take that one.
I don't even need to hit the gym every morning. I just stroke his ego for an hour and I've worked out.
We have a question from the gentleman right there.
Just curious, why no 3D on this? Seems like this film would have come back.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see it.
Simon?
I would have too.
Is it too late?
Simon, you're not answering any questions down there.
$47 and a bag of Skittles. Not enough for 3D. Costs money. I don't know. Aesthetically, would you have wanted 3D, Tim?
I think it was just time, honestly. But we did the little test that leaked at one point. Ryan's producing partner, Jonathan Comack Martin, called in a favor at one of the Stereo D, and we did a 3D test of that slow-mo motion as he's about to cut the guy's head off. It's fucking awesome. But I don't know. I personally am not the biggest fan of 3D. I think technology will get better, but I don't like the way it takes the glasses, and it takes 30% of the brightness off.
It darkens everything.
Yeah, so the new projectors are really going to help that, and it's going to look better. Like laser IMAX really helps that issue, and other laser projectors coming on the market. But I wasn't upset.
I don't care for 3D because I got to put the glasses over my glasses.
Yeah.
They may invent something.
It takes away a little bit from the communal experience of being in a movie theater. I feel separated from people.
Anybody else?
We have a question right here. Hey Ryan, this is a question for you. You often describe Deadpool as a horrible relationship, breaking up, getting back together, and finally getting married. How does it feel knowing at this point that Deadpool is the #1 rated R movie of all time without China?
Yeah. I always joke, it was rated R in America and rated fuck you in China. Look, it feels great. I mean, to be perfectly frank, since the movie became that big, I've been insufferable. This group of people, I mean, for me, it's been an 11-year journey, and for this group, it's been 6 years and change, and we've all had our ups and downs and our moments in between, and it did feel like a shitty relationship. I mean, it was like we would be standing at the altar, and then it would be off, and then it would be on, then it would be off, and then finally it happened, and thank God for the internet and thank God for the fans, because I say that, and it does sometimes sound like you hear a lot of actors thank the fans and thank the fans. It sort of sounds like rhetoric, but it's real. I mean, they pushed this movie over the hump that we couldn't do. You know, we couldn't get it made, and the studio, God bless them, they didn't understand it. They didn't believe in it fully. They didn't kind of know what it was, and the fans let them know that they could make this movie and they could make it in the most authentic way that Deadpool fans would respect and love, and they did. So.
This is a 24-year journey for me. 11 for you.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, no way. That's you with the little guy with the little Deadpool. Is that the first comic? Which is that? What are you
That's
carrying?
the one of his first series. I have the 98 New Mutants.
That's pretty sweet. That is pretty cool, man. I love that. I love meeting people too. I met some people the other night. We did the MTV Movie Awards, and some people who like you had the first comics ever, and they were so thrilled that we did the character justice. So. Oh, great!
I want to thank you so much for protecting content and pushing forward and putting whatever you have to do to get this.
Yeah, and you know what? That's why we got to shoot this movie on $47 in a bag of Skittles. But we got to make it the right way, and we had people here that knew how to do that and knew how to give, because you just needed to put that character on the screen in the right way, and everything else would fall into place. So yeah, we consider ourselves lucky. You're welcome. And thank you.
We have time for just.
Questions for Deadpool.
Yes,
Do you have any advice for upcoming superheroes just starting out? And would you be open to perhaps teaming up with an upcoming superhero?
Do I have any advice for upcoming superheroes?
I'm upcoming.
You're upcoming. Oh, good. Okay, good. Oh man, that's a tough one. I don't know. Try to have the Marvel logo at the beginning of your film. That's sort of, for me, works. Yeah. And then what was the second half of the question?
Would you be open to perhaps collaborating with an upcoming superhero, showing them the ropes?
Like a Deadpool team up.
Like a Deadpool team up with Galactor.
Oh God.
Galactor.
Galactor. Wow. I don't think that was his Christian name. I don't know. We'll see. Deadpool's tough to team up with a bunch of people because he's kind of meta and knows he's in a comic book movie, and it's sort of, it's a discussion we always have, which is that can you put Deadpool in a room with Magneto? That's hard to do. So.
But in truth, in the comics, the best parts of the comics are when he meets up with other people. And I'm reading X-Force at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's like whenever you bring any character you bring in, it makes it so interesting. And I every night go to sleep imagining a truce between everyone. And Spider-Man being able to meet up with Deadpool and Deadpool Wolverine, and obviously the possible introduction of Cable and all. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah,
possibilities.
Deadpool and Batman would be a lot of fun. That'd be a movie I'd want to see. I'd pay top dollar.
Me and my son always talk about if Deadpool met Michelangelo from the Turtles, they would be the best buddies. That would be so awesome.
So him writing.
I can dream.
I can dream.
But I do think Rhett and Paul take note because he might have just cracked Deadpool 2.
Yeah,
there you go.
Right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
For Simon, there's been a lot of talk about what it means for superhero movies that an R-rated one can make so much of a profit and become such a success. When you guys look forward to your slate at Fox, how is the success of the movie maybe altering or affecting how you guys are planning for the future?
I think it's changed a lot, both in terms of the rating and even just the approach. I think one of the reasons the movie is so successful is because it did break a lot of the paradigms and the models of the genre. And so there is a challenge to make these movies feel fresh and original. I don't know that any movie will feel as fresh and original as this one did. But I know other studios and Fox are much more open to the idea of R-rated superhero films than they would have been, 3 months ago. And for us, and we've all said this in different forms and different times, we were surprised by how successful the movie was. We really believed in the film creatively, and we thought we could make a film that was true to the comic and that fans would love it, and we didn't know that the rest of the world would embrace it too. And they did, and I think it's because it's unique.
Very unique.
Can I just say that making a movie that is as different as this is, you know, it's scary for everybody, especially people writing a check. And Simon provided covering fire, like I mean, I don't know the business well enough, but you know, you hear the stories and how bad it can be. And Simon protected us from
Simon
all
was
of
kind
that.
of the bridge between us and the studio, that they trust him implicitly, and you know, he said just let them go do the movie that they need to make, and because of that we were able to do that. And because it is, I also can empathize with the studio when you're cutting a check. That, you know, it's still a big check, even though this movie is a smaller in terms of superheroes. He's still, you know, it's scary. Yeah, it's a big investment nonetheless. And so
Simon's constantly being there saying, I know what it looks like. I know this looks really like a train wreck, but trust me, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right.
Gotta have that calming effect in your in your position.
We got one more question.
Yes, it's from me. Ed, you had a naked fight scene with Ryan.
We had many off camera.
Off camera, yeah. Was there any close calls with Deadpool's fun sack?
With Deadpool's?
His fun sack.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was, I think, I mean, there's a lot of people around the world very jealous of me. Maybe if they were there on the day with all the rusty metal, the wheelchairs on fire.
Are those sexual positions?
Euphemisms,
The old Roman helmet?
The flaming wheelchair,
It was a sad sack.
It was. But it was awesome, man. It was awesome, and I don't know. I mean, there were so many great days in the workshop, but there was one day in particular when I'd already done a second unit day with one of the doubles, and then Ryan came in, and they were all a bit sheepish about me and him working together, and you know, the first 20 minutes I wasn't in. And I was like, come on, put me in, I've been training for this, come on. And when we went in after that, it was one of the best days that I've ever had on set, you know. And it was great. And we pretty much did every take, the two of us, you know, and it was wonderful, man.
Ed is great in the fight scenes too. He's very good at that stuff, so a little intimidating,
Thank you.
And even seriously, like 14 hours in, Ed's like, don't let the stunt guys do this take. Let me get in there. Let me get in there. And Ryan was so exhausted because he had to do the makeup for 6 hours before that in that final spiked scene, he fell asleep for a minute while he was hanging there, and because he was so exhausted.
It was the two longest days I've ever had on set is that day, because that was 23 and a half hour shoot day for me. Not for everyone else, just because Bill Corso as well was there for as long as I was. And ironically, the other longest day was on Wolverine. It was, I did 2 units at once, and I did a 23-hour day on that one. That was the other longest day. So it was always somewhere around. It was always Fox.
It's always Fox.
With my sleep schedule.
Simon?
They tried 23 hours in labor.
I can imagine. Right. Bring it right to
True.
Absolutely.
True.
Oh, that would be very hard on my penis, I gotta say. Very hard. We can all agree. And that's why Morena's not here, guys. She actually just had a baby. We do issues here, and so she couldn't make it. Our kiss was good, but not that good.
It was, 9 months ago.
So is fighting naked harder or easier?
Is fighting naked? I can't think.
I want to hear from
I
both of
honestly
them.
can't think of a more terrifying situation when a man not wearing a stitch of clothing, his penis hanging out, is coming at you to fight. I mean, if that happens to me, there is a Ryan-sized hole in the wall. I am out of the room. I'm gone. That guy's got something going on that I don't want to deal with. So, I don't know. How did it feel for you, Ed?
Oh, it felt great. Right, it really did. Yeah, it did. Yeah, I mean, I suppose actually, in all honesty, you know, you didn't have, you know, you could move well in the prosthetics and stuff, and you know, sometimes costumes. If you have a suit of armor or you know, lots of stuff weighing you down, it can be difficult. Sometimes the shoes, you know, especially like period pieces and stuff, it's difficult to walk and fight, and they're slippery. So actually, it's probably better than a lot of you know, fight outfits. Yeah.
And you don't mind having
What? Go ahead, say it.
Having what?
Just swinging around?
Spinderella. Having what?
The junk wasn't out.
Okay,
It's not always out,
But actually, the best. There was a wonderful thing that our generous Bill Corso, who's just has such a great sense of humor as well. He made a fake willy and balls, and he basically had. There was this wonderful girl who's working in the makeup department. He had her go round to find a condom that they could stuff. And she came back and she said, I've been to 12 sex shops today looking for non-lubricated condoms. Which is something I'd never heard of before.
She went to 12 sex shops, then her lawyer's office.
And she was sitting there drawing veins on it, and it was, yeah, we didn't use it in the movie, but it was.
Is it a Blu-ray DVD?
That's what. Ryan took
Feel free to stop talking anytime.
Ryan took the suit home, but I took that home.
I can tell all the ladies in the room, you do not want to see that penis because it was
disgusting.
It was a horrific. I'm still scarred by seeing it. It's terrible.
This is going to be taken in a weird
sorry.
way. I'm just saying.
We have a song
In
called
print,
Let's Talk
it's a
About
little
Sex, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh God. But it's okay to not talk about it sometimes.
That's what I'm trying to make it work. Okay.
Can I also just say about that fight sequence, that thing with Ed with the sticks? That was the first thing they sent me from London, where Ed was training. And they're like, look how hard he's training. And it's him going, And I sent it to Ryan. I'm like, you got to be fucking shitting me. We're in trouble, man.
Yeah, this is our warrior.
Yeah. Look, he's beating up a guy twice his age.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
This question is for Ryan, Tim, Ed, and Rhett. Do you consider including any other X-Men in the film?
Including any other X-Men.
Did we consider?
Did you consider including any
all
other
of them?
X-Men?
Like we wanted all of them, but they would
Yeah,
never
I mean,
give
it's
us one of
again,
them.
it's the Skittles and the $47. I hate to keep going back to that, but yeah, we settled on Colossus very quickly because we thought he hadn't really been treated as well as maybe he could have been in some of the earlier films. And Negasonic Teenage Warhead came off a list that Tim gave us of potential names that and we didn't know her powers, but just that name lit up, and we just like, oh my gosh, we have to use her. So
there were three choices: Harry Ocelot,
Yeah.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Tar Baby, which is the worst fucking superhero. Like, I couldn't believe it was actually on us.
So yeah, but we also had some other villains that were in the original draft: Garrison Kane and Wire and Sluggo. They all ended up
I
coming
believe you
out
had
for budget.
Taskmaster, who's one of my favorites.
No, not Taskmaster.
Wasn't he on
No,
in
'cause we
a
don't have the
previous
rights
draft?
to him.
Master was talked about
Right,
7 years
okay.
ago. We never got him on the thing.
Yeah,
He would be amazing.
So we had some other villains, and then we considered Cannonball. We considered we you know you go through this process, and ultimately I think the cream rises, and that's what we got in these two.
Yeah, all they realised they had no money and they were so desperate they were just like, right, well, let's get that cheap guy from London who's going to do it for very little money.
The question is so amazing because when Ryan said that, like, you know, this is such a big house, and I just see you two.
You two.
The studio.
Yeah.
I can afford
Well,
to
and
see
Ryan
that. That was amazing.
ad-libbed that line.
I know, and I thought it
And-
was amazing to keep it. It
And
was so
I mean, one of
great.
the things I think you guys are all discovering today, if you've never been in a room with Ryan Reynolds, is he's always the funniest guy in the room. And I think we as writers get a lot of credit for a lot of the jokes that came from him just on the day, or you know, he doesn't, at night you'll be in the hotel anxiously thinking about the next day, and your wheels are turning, and he comes in the morning and says, oh, I've got something, you know, and that was the kind of thing. And then of course everybody says, oh, the screenwriters, what a great job they did on that joke, and we have to give credit where it's due.
You did a great job, though. Come on, it was a collaborative effort. You guys were,
Yeah.
the three of you are, you know.
But I mean, again,
I'm
you
always
see
trying to
him,
make
you
you
see him
laugh.
today. He's the quickest dude on the planet, and we all benefit from
Our
that.
original screenplay was one page, and it just said Ryan ad lib.
Yeah, go. Yeah. And between him and TJ Miller, that was just bad meets evil.
Oh God.
You know,
TJ.
Yeah,
me
right.
and Gina Carano were just there like, I don't think we're going to say anything, you know. Take it away, guys.
That was amazing.
We want to say congratulations to you guys because this is definitely the blockbuster and everyone is talking about it. And I want to give you guys, everyone give them a round of applause. And Blu-ray, and any words, last words?
Well, I just want to thank you guys because I have a 16-year-old son who
I met him.
the only time he talks to me is when he wants food or money. And he came with me to the premiere. He hung out with me, so thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And I just want to say, my son is 25 years old, and he said, please, Mom, tell Ryan, just like this, he's the shit.
Wow.
I had to say that.
Tell
He told
him
me to
thank
say it
you.
just like that,
Please tell
so
him thank you.
I had to say it.
Thank you guys.
I want to thank you guys for the person who probably had to watch the movie the most I still was into that song. By the time we wrapped production, they would go, okay, it's the credit rolls. Let's just move on. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Let it roll.
Remember
Let
at
the credits roll.
Comic-Con, when Shoop hits, you see every head in Comic-Con bouncing up and down. I was like, we might have something here.
We actually have films of, like, when we're doing tests, we'd film the audience, right? And you do it, and you can see Rhett in the back of the audience, every test scene, his head's bobbing.
And the scene when it just jumped in there when you were on the bridge and you're
I love it.
That was
Love it.
amazing. The way it just popped in there was great. So thank you for using our song.
Thank you.
We feel really blessed.
And Ed, I know this was, are you still doing music? Because I know that
No,
you do
not
rap.
now.
You rap as well.
Only on Saturday night, very drunk after the MTV Awards.
Wow,
At a house
this is
party.
news. This is news. We buried the lead. What's going on? You're a rapper?
You didn't know that?
Oh my God.
I have many past lives.
You're gonna get it now, Ed. Oh boy.
They're going to be writing for me.
They're gonna be writing for you.
Yeah. No, I mean, you guys are, we grew up with Salt-N-Pepa. And when I got into the theatre, my agent said, look, Salt-N-Pepa are down there. I was, oh my God, look at that. My voice just went up.
I sense a
To
team
meet
up.
you guys, I was like,
team up. Let's get a team up.
yeah, it's like 10 years too late for me, man. You know? And you guys are doing it so well. You guys are the masters.
Get a team up. We'll be the
Thank you guys for coming out here today. I really, means a lot. Really awesome.
Any more clips? No
Yeah.
more clips?
Thanks again, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.